Hi guys, welcome to my YouTube channel and another interesting online tutorial by Jenny Concept. For this tutorial, I'll be learning how to make a gathered turban cap and ruffles design. For this tutorial, the materials needed include Scuba Fabric for the turban base, Satin Fabric for the ruffles design, scissors, measuring tape, matching color of thread and needle, candle gum and glue gun, as well as pairs of stones for embellishment. If you are new to this channel, please subscribe and also click on the bell icon to enable you get notifications on all new tutorials. I'm going to be starting by stating out the measurements I'm going to be using now. I have my fabric here, and this fabric is for my band. For my band, I'm going to be using 5 inches for the width and 23 inches for the length, which is the head circumference. So from this end to this end is 5 inches, while the full length is 23 inches, which is 5 inches by 23 inches for the band. Now for the base, I have my fabric cut out already, and I'm also going to be using 23 inches for the head circumference, like that of the band, while the width is going to be 18 inches. So for my base, I'm using 23 by 18 inches, which is 23 inches for the head circumference and 18 inches for the width. Now, as I haven't done that, get your base, get your measuring tape and your chalk. The way my fabric is positioned from this end to this end is 18 inches, which is the width. I'll take it again. From this point to this point is the 18 inches, the width, while from this end down to this other end is the head circumference, which is 23 inches. To continue, this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to get my measuring tape, and then I'm going to be measuring out 1.5 inch, and I'm going to be marking it. So I'll measure 1.5 inch and mark until I get to the end of the fabric. So I have 1.5 inches here, and I'm going to be marking. I'll continue, measure another 1.5 inch and mark. Continue, take another measurement of 1.5 inches and mark. So this is what I will do till I've gotten to the end. As soon as I've gotten to the end of the fabric, I'm also going to extend this my mark, this my measurement, down to this other end here. So I'll extend it from this point down to this other end. So I'll do that and I'll get back. Having done that, this is what I have. As you can see, my marks, my lines are here, and each interval is 1.5 inch. So this is what I've done. I started from this point and I have it down all the way to the end of my fabric. Now to continue, I'm going to take it to my sewing machine, and I'm going to be folding it and sewing by half an inch. So I will pick the first line, fold it down this way, fold it into this way, and sew by half an inch from this end down to the other end. I'll pick the second mark, fold again, sew by half an inch from this point down to the other point. I will come again, pick the third mark, fold it and sew, and then that is how I'm going to sew until I get to the last mark, which I have here. That is this last mark here. I would also fold and sew until I get to the end. So I'm going to get this on my sewing machine. I'll sew and I'll get back. Done sewing, and this is what I get. This is the wrong side of my fabric. Now this was what I meant when I said you pick each line, you fold into 2, and you sew from this end down to the other end. You pick the second line, fold into 2, and then sew from this sew by 1/2 inch from this end down to the other end until you get to the end of your fabric. So this is it. This is the back view after stitching, and then this is the front view. So this is how it looks like. This is how my work is. I'm going to continue. I'll get my band, and then I have my band here. I'm going to be folding my band into two this way. So this is it. After folding into two, this is what I get. And then I'm going to be placing my band on the fine side of my base. So I'll fold into two and place on the fine side of my base this way. I'm going to be holding it down using my pins. As soon as I'm done holding it down in place with my pins, this is what I get. This is how it looks like. So this is it from this other side. And then I'm going to place it on my sewing machine, and I'm going to sew from this end. I'll start sewing from this end. I'll sew all the way down to this other end to join my band and my base together. So this gather to band cap is a round band gather to band cap. So I'm going to sew from this end down to the other end, and as soon as I'm done sewing, I'll get back and show us how it looks like. I've been able to join my band to my base. This is my band and this is my base. This is the back view. This is where I joined the band to the base. So this is how it looks like. And then my band cap is getting ready. To continue, I'm going to be folding my work into two this way. Now I'm going to be joining everything together to form the cap. So I'll place it on my sewing machine, starting from the band. I'm going to sew from this end. I'll sew down. On getting to this end, I'll also take it down this way till I've gotten to this end. So this is how I'm going to sew. I'm going to start sewing from this point. I'll sew all the way down. On getting to this end, I'm going to take it this way and also sew until I get to this particular end. And after sewing, I'm going to get back and show us how it looks like. After sewing, this is what I get. You can see I started stitching from this way. And getting here, I brought it down this way to this very end, and I'm done stitching. This is the back view. Now I'm going to turn it inside out to the front view. So this is it. This is the side that was sewn. The ends are closed and I have this. Now I'm going to get the middle part, and then this is my middle part. This is the middle part of my fabric. Okay, I had to make a fence line so that I can be sure of it. I don't know if you can see it. There's a fence line at the middle here. And then to continue, I'm going to be stitching through the middle part to form my gathers. I will proceed by getting my needle and thread. I have my needle and thread here, and then ensure your thread is doubled so that it can help hold your fabric in place. At the middle point, pass your needle and thread from the back of the fabric, that is from inside the fabric. Bring it out this way. Now take it back inside. It should be very close to where your thread is coming out from. Now take it back inside, and then pass your needle and thread to the next line that was sewn. So this is it. I have my needle here and it's out. So what I'm going to do again is that I'm going to repeat the same procedure I did for the first line that was sewn. I'll pass my needle and thread inside again, very close to it, and then bring it out from inside. It's out. And then I'll pass my, so by the time you drag your thread, you see you're already forming your gathers. And then I'll pass my needle and thread again to the third line. Please, it should be at the middle. That was why I made fence lines to guide me. Pass my needle and thread out. and then I'm going to take it back inside very close. And then bring it out from the fourth line that was sewn, that is next line that was sewn. And I'll repeat the same procedure until I get to this very end here, the tip here. So I've gotten to the end, and on getting to the end, I'm going to pull my thread this way. So this is it. I'll pull my threads to form my gathers, and I have it this way. And then I'm going to secure my thread. I will tie and I'll cut off my excess thread. Then I've cut off my excess thread, and I have my gathers here. So this is going to be the front view of our cap, and this is the back view. Now to continue, flip your work to the back, that is, turn it inside out to the other side, and then along this edge here, using your needle and thread, we'll be making a running stitch. Now your running stitch comes immediately after the band. We're not making the running stitch on the band, but after the band. That is, at this point we're going to make a running stitch down to this end, and we'll end here. We'll not extend it to this other part. It's going to end here. I have my needle and thread here. Now starting immediately after the band, I'm going to pass my needle and thread in, and I'll start making my running stitches. So I'll just take my needle and thread in, out, until I get to the end. I'll pull my thread this way and secure my thread. Then I will tie and cut off the excess thread. Finally, this is what I get. So this is my gathers at the back, my gathers at the front, and then turning it to the front. This is how it looks like. So my gathered turban cap is ready, and then this is the back view, this is the front view. First design, I have my satin fabric here, and the measurement I'm using is 7 inches for the width. From this point to this point is 7 inches, and the length of my fabric is 90 inches. I'm using 7 inches by 90 inches. So this full length of my fabric is 7 inches. Now you're cutting it out in 2 places, that is for 2 different pieces of fabric. And I have my second piece of fabric here. So this is 2 pieces of fabric, 7 inches by 90 inches. And then I'll proceed by folding my fabric into 2. Now while folding your fabric into 2, the fine side should be inside, that is, this is the fine side, and on folding it, this is the wrong side. So the wrong side should be facing you, and the fine side should be inside. I'll fold it into 2 this way, and I'm going to sew. I'll start sewing from this end, and then sew all the way down to the end of my fabric, that is this end here. So I'm going to fold into 2 and sew. The same way I'm sewing for this is the same way I'm also going to sew for my second piece of fabric. And after sewing, we'll get back and continue. This is my satin fabric. I finished sewing and I turned my fabric inside out, and then if you observe, the sewn part is at the middle. I had to place the sewn part at the middle. I've also ironed my fabric to straighten it out. Please, when working with non-stretchy fabric, especially satin fabric, if your fabric is rumpled, please endeavor to iron your fabric before working with it in order to straighten it out. I've also closed the edge of my fabric, and then I have my second piece of fabric here. Now to continue, I'm going to get my needle and thread, and then I'm going to be making running stitches on my fabric. So this is my fabric now. At the middle of my fabric, I'm going to get my needle and thread, and I'm going to be making running stitches. So I'll just get my needle and thread in this way, and then I'll keep passing it until I get to the end of the fabric. Now I'm going to repeat the same procedure for my other fabric too, just to make running stitches to form ruffles. So my running stitches is at the middle of my fabric. So this is it, my design is coming in place. I'll continue with this until I get to the end. And then as soon as I'm done, I'm going to drag my thread and I'll set my ruffles in place, then secure my thread and cut off the excess thread. Finally, I have my ruffles design here, and then I'm going to get my second piece of fabric and repeat the same procedure. So I have my second piece of fabric here. I'm going to get my needle and thread and make a running stitch through it just like this in order to get this design. And I'm done with making my running stitch on my second fabric, and I have both my ruffles design this way, my two pieces of fabric here. And then to continue, we're going to be adding the ruffles design on our turban cap. So I have my turban cap this way, so I'm going to fold it into two to get the middle, and then I'll also be needing my glue gun and my candle gum. I have it here and it's already plugged. Now I'm going to be applying gum, and after applying gum I'm going to be gluing down my ruffles on my turban cap. Now you can decide to stitch using your needle and thread, but then I'll be making use of my candle gum and glue gun to attach my ruffles to my turban piece. So what I'm just going to do is I'm going to go now, apply gum all through, and then place my ruffles design on it. I'm done with attaching my first ruffles, and this is what I have. So I'll get my second ruffles, get my glue, so I'm going to apply gum gradually, and then I'm going to glue this down again. Finally, after attaching my ruffles to my turban cap, this is what I get. This is the front view, this is the side view, and this is the back view of my work. I have my pearls here, or my pearls on my stones. You can decide to as well further embellish your work using these stones or pearls. It is optional and depends solely on you. So you can leave your work this way or further embellish using stones.
This is our final outlook, and then this brings us to the end of this tutorial. I hope you got value from this tutorial. You can also follow us on Facebook. Our Facebook page is Jenny Concepts. We also have a Facebook group where we share other free illustrations. Search for Jenny Fashion and Craft on Facebook.
More music
Thanks
on
for being a part of this tutorial. Bye. See you in our next tutorial.